Activation code required. Access granted. Warning. Evacuation sequence activated.
We're back. Welcome to the bunker.
There you go.
Hey, welcome to the S4 Bunker, coming to you live from the Cascade Mountains here in Concrete, Washington on this awesome February 1st, Wednesday. Is Groundhog going to see a shadow tomorrow? I don't think so.
But the bigger question is Bill Murray.
Every day for about 365 days.
I don't think so. I don't think he has
A little underground weatherman.
Right? And we have our normal panel tonight.
Like.
We have Harmony, Rick, Joe, and Nikki.
Hey.
Hello.
Joe?
Hi.
Tonight is part 2 from last
Joe?
week. So if you don't know what the hell we're talking about, then just go listen to last week's show because I'm not recapping.
Joe, you asked what groundhog tastes like?
Yeah.
Chicken.
It's a little like Canadian goose and bald eagle.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
And there's the brown Yeti. Most of his snow thawed off except for his beard. So, real quick before we dive into this, we had a report from last week in Darrington, Washington, of the famous blue ball that flies from White Horse Mountain to Mount Baker.
Yeah.
Harmony, I can't remember. How many times a week do people see this flying? Is it once a week that it travels?
I don't personally, I've never heard of it being seen that often, but I haven't really studied it a lot. I'm not too far from where it was sighted this last week, and my neighbor has saw it about a year and a half ago, and then a few people that I know saw it, in the summertime, but I would say it's definitely a common occurrence, and we here call it white horse lights because it usually when you see it here, it's around the mountains.
Makes me wonder if it's a craft that's flying to Baker to fuel up. Because I do think they fuel up on volcanoes from geothermal energy. Just my opinion and just a theory I've heard tossed around.
Well, as a psychic, a few years ago, I got live intel from the other side about a underground base that they were putting in at Mount Baker. U.S. government was doing it.
You know what?
That's the theory here is that it could possibly be underground base activity.
I don't.
That's what I was going to comment on.
Jim Creek Naval Air Station, naval base that's underground in the mountain range there.
So, but that's the thing. So if it was an underground tunnel or if it was an underground anything, I could see them going from Jim Creek maybe towards Baker. But as far as activity around Baker, we would see it. We're right here. It's our back. It's literally in our backyard. And honestly, there's not enough military travel. Huh?
I was given a map. Somebody that I know that is a hiker gave me a map when I made the comment publicly about it.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, point it out. And I did. They're the ones who has the map. I did make a copy of it. It's somewhere in my folders.
If you find it, can you email it to me?
You bet. Do it in a heartbeat.
So
let me write it down.
So we're going to talk about Sock Mountain a little bit tonight, but real quick, before we delve into that part, there are volcanic shafts in Sock Mountain that are actually connected to Baker. And from one source, I actually heard there is supposed to be a fenced-off government area behind Sock Mountain. But I've actually seen pictures behind Sock Mountain, and there's no obvious signs of it. I mean, does that mean there's not? No, not at all. But there's supposed to be like underground missile defense area behind Sock Mountain, which, okay, is it possible? It is. Is it likely? I really don't know. Strategically speaking, it would be a good spot as a defense to knock out missiles that were heading towards Jim Creek.
Right.
So that would be a strategic point, potentially.
Yeah, our military network is very huge and extensive here in the Puget Sound.
The issue is behind Sock Mountain, depending on the elevation, they're going to have to worry about doors freezing. They're going to have to worry about getting times.
You know Sock Mountain. It's just like a rocky.
Yeah, but if it's on the back side,
right?
If it's in a valley,
there's a valley, a green valley down behind it.
The snow in those meadows can get up to 25 feet.
Okay. So I don't know.
That would be the issue: is snow coverage, and then still trying to keep it hidden. You're not going to move 25 feet of snow from the top in order to.
That'd be too obvious.
Huh?
That'd be too obvious. Even trying to move the snow to uncover.
No, to open the door.
Right.
25 feet of snow, even if it's powder, is too much snow to actually still lift that door. There's too much pressure.
Maybe they teleport.
Well, but you got to think it's an ice. Like it'd be an ICBM.
In theory, yeah.
So the door for that's only 15 feet. Because
Roughly.
it's about the same size as a corn silo.
I couldn't see it being a full-size silo like you see in the Midwest and all that. Just a small strategic point.
I know.
You ever see one of those doors on a silo blast open before a rocket launch? I don't think 25 feet of snow is going to do a damn thing to it.
Thank you.
They are going to open those doors if they want those doors open.
Based on what I saw,
hidden in like a cave as well, that the cave doesn't
stop it.
No exposure.
Well, I would think they'd have some kind of heating system that the doors would be, kept relatively free of any kind of snow or ice anyway.
But again,
the doors on those launch tubes weigh thousands of tons. They're blast proof from a nuclear blast. You don't think it's going to be bothered by 25 feet of snow?
I guess my other point, though, is they're trying to keep it hidden and secret. Trying to move 25 feet of snow off it is going to make it obvious. So
it's obvious when they open it and it launches.
I don't see why they'd have to.
Not many people go on the backside either.
Well, no, but the U.S. has missiles in Idaho, Montana, and in Alberta. All those will reach past the coast.
Now, there are better places to put any kind of missile defense.
Absolutely. I'm just trying to...
Like I imagine Arizona has...
They might have them.
Oh, yeah.
Colorado. California has to have friggin' missile silos in it.
And they're all flat. Well, California's not, but...
Wouldn't you agree, Joe?
What's that?
California would have some missile silos that are made to defend the West Coast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like...
We probably got stuff out here. I'm sure we have stuff out here that's designed to just shoot down anything coming in.
Yeah.
Dude, they're all...
we don't know anything about.
No, they're all in fucking Bohemian Grove.
But it doesn't make sense to me to put it.
Did you guys hear about that missile that came
Yeah,
in?
they're gonna throw the big owl
a
at
few
it.
years back and was disarmed.
Yeah, Moloch
Say
is
that
actually the top of
There
the
was
missile
a missile
silo.
that was aimed at the Pacific Northwest a couple years ago, and it was disarmed and stopped before it hit here.
Oh, I'm sure it's not the
It
only
was actually
time.
when a very important political figure was in town.
All right.
Bernie? No.
Yeah,
She said important.
Was it
pretty
Bernie?
interesting.
It's okay. He would have stopped it with his mittens.
Yep. So let's talk about emergency response teams for a second. So you have emergency response teams for, I don't know, disaster response. You have them for terrorism response. We call them QRTs in the Army, quick reaction teams. But why would you want one for a paranormal?
Well, if there's poltergeist energy or something extremely dangerous, it would be important to have somebody who is ready and available.
Okay.
How many of the paranormal response team things have gone on where it's actually seriously dangerous, like knives getting stuck in doors and things like that?
We'll actually get.
Someone falls
very
downstairs.
small.
Oh, something pushed me. It's like, well, maybe you just slipped. I don't know. But I mean,
It's a very small
other than
amount.
scaring the piss out of people, I very rarely hear about somebody dying or getting killed from something paranormal.
Well, and again, like we talked last week, when we responded, we responded all the time anyway. But especially when it came to children,
Yeah.
pregnant women, things of that nature, where there are threats to life and limb, potentially.
Potentially, yeah.
And even if it's a psychiatric case, if that person has it in their head that it's real, then to them it is real, whether it's real or not. So
that's in their head,
right? But that's why.
Is it in their head, or was it put in their head by something?
Yeah, big difference.
There's a big difference, but and that's why I do think when it comes to paranormal teams, they should always have someone that is degreed in assessing whether psychiatric issues are going on. And we did at the time. To the point where we actually, it was really weird. We had two different cases, 2 different states where we actually called CPS in on 2 different clients. Because when you have a child who is this so-called parent is filming the child while they're sleeping, and that wasn't paranormal. That was actually child abuse on the parental side, and it was shown on video. What was the other one? The other one was, she was actually talking about her possessed child and how she was going to do an exorcism to save the spirit, not the child. So,
Excuse me?
Oh, fuck yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, CPS was called by our psychiatric counselor on both of those cases. Cause we handed both of those cases over to her for assessment. And, no, not paranormal. It's child abuse.
Yeah.
So, why we started so I've been in the emergency response field essentially since I was about 17 or 18, and that was search and rescue, and then of course Army. Army is nothing but response. What the hell was that? And so it wasn't much of a stretch to take the principles and the concept behind emergency response into a paranormal concept. And I will honestly say it was fun while it lasted. The cases we handled weren't fun, but you know, it was fun on the aspect of bringing peace to families. Now, have you guys ever watched, say, Dead Files or Ghosts That Attack and shows like that and gone, oh my God, why are they moving?
Yeah.
Long time ago. Like multiple years ago.
Yeah. You're going, why are you moving? We could have handled that case.
I'd have moved anyway.
Oh, you're talking about the ones where they tell the people, you're screwed, there's a dark demon in your house, so you have to sell it. Yeah. That's horse shit.
Yeah, I know.
Not only that, but you're just pushing the problem on the guy who buys it.
Exactly.
Right?
Or it goes with you.
I guess my pet peeve, too, is everything damn near is a demon when it comes to TV shows.
And it drives me nuts when I hear that.
Very based on fear.
I know it was really cool.
Yeah.
I've been watching videos all week, and I actually saw I watched an interview, an exorcist actually, with a Catholic priest, and this Catholic priest came on and actually said, "Well, you know what? Truly demonic cases are extremely rare." I'm like, thank you.
Right.
You know, hearing that from a Catholic priest who's an ordained, I don't know if they call him ordained exorcist, but who's a documented exorcist from the Vatican, who's, coming on video saying, yeah, they're actually rare. It's usually psychiatric. It's usually, the cat scratched. And I think my other pet peeve is this misconception that anytime there are 3 scratches or 3 knocks or so on and so forth, it's always a demon.
Yeah.
You know
it
what?
drives me up a wall when I see stuff like that.
It's like, what the hell? Yes, demons are real, but demons to me aren't a religious aspect. They are their own race. They are their own entity. Do you really think most demons give 2 shits about the human race? Not really. They got more important things that they're doing in their world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are there malevolent demons? Absolutely. Not saying they're not. But, again, they're rare.
Yeah, but come on. There's malevolent humans. There's malevolent everything.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm more scared of humans than I am the spirit world or demons.
Yeah, I was about to say there's more malevolent humans than there are malevolent demons, honestly.
My brother had a malevolent rooster.
Oh my God, they're the worst. Because they sneak up on you.
That was meaner than shit.
And they've got that spur.
Yeah, I had one of those.
What a tonga that'll get you going.
It would attack you, you kick it, and it would just get madder.
Yeah.
Well, hello. Don't kick it.
And they got that spur. They love to dig in.
That's what they tell you to do on the farm when a rooster comes. My leg, I'm only 5'2". I cannot kick a rooster that is like 3 feet tall.
Yeah, they think they're bigger than they are.
It's like the rooster on the Family Guy that Peter Griffin's always fighting.
Yes.
All right, so moving along, attachments. So why is protection in the paranormal so important?
Oh, well, let's see. Where do we begin with that one? Holy crap. You're looking at physical. You're looking at going after aspects of the soul. You're looking at the psychological aspect of it that could be done damage, which, of course, goes into all the emotional. What else do you want? I mean, there's a lot more than just that, but that's a good start.
Keep going.
Yeah, you nailed it.
There's a list. Keep going.
Oh, there's a long list. I mean, that's the basics of it right there. I mean, there's so many aspects to it.
But
each subject has its own list.
Yeah, and then you go into the physical dangers, not just the paranormal or psychological, which we'll get to that part later. Because I mean, you got molds, you got broken boards, you got physical structure. Oftentimes, and it kills me because you'll talk to you hear some of these teams being interviewed, and protection. What do we need protection for? A ghost can't attack you. Yeah, okay. As you go running out of your client's house. I think that's one of my other pet peeves too, though. Is these. If you want to be a ghost hunter, by all means, be a ghost hunter. But go to graveyards, go to haunted, businesses or something. Do not go to a residential home. Because the minute you go to a residential home and get the shit scared out of you, maybe not, even if you're bored, even if there's nothing going on, but there is something there, now you've, the minute you recognize that there's something there, and leave without actually fixing the problem, now you've validated that fear to the client that, oh wow, the experts, that's my other hated word, the experts said there's something here, but they didn't take it away. And now you also pissed off whatever's there to attack the client even more, potentially.
Then you might even end up bringing home an entity into your space.
Oh, I hope they do bring it home.
Because of that anchoring of fear.
But oftentimes what can happen is you'll go into someone's home, you'll go to a haunted location, you haven't done any kind of protection. One of our protective measures was actually black tourmaline, which, in my opinion, to me, is one of the better stones to protect yourself with. Because it dispels negativity, it can absorb negativity, and then you cleanse it. At least, my recommendation was always to cleanse it after every case, if we did boots on ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
But what can happen is you can have a spirit or some other form of entity attached to you. And usually it comes in the form of pain in the lower back, pain in the upper shoulder area. And it's, I can't remember what movie that was. It was either a movie or a meme. Where the spirit was like on his back. That was a perfect picture of the attachment, though.
I've got one for you regarding that, an attachment and body feelings.
Yep.
This is something that I was talking about last week, or started to talk about last week, and you said, wait, we're going to do that next week. So here it is.
Yep.
Awesome.
So I was asked by another group to take a look at a property, take a look at the property psychically, and in my higher self, and realized that there were more than one grounded spirit on the property, and realized that one of them was a child. The child realized what I was, grabbed onto my soul cord, which I didn't even know they could do, and minutes later I'm like, why do I feel like I'm E.T. pregnant? Because I typically know when I'm E.T. pregnant, and I'm like, what the hell what is going on? I had to have somebody that I know and trust scan me and say to me, yeah, you've got not only an attachment, it's a boy. And I'm like, yeah, I know it's a boy, but is it E.T. or is it something? And they're like, no, it's not E.T. And I'm like, okay. That's when I had to do a little unexpected detachment surgery on my soul cord with this kid who had been terrorized by another spirit who had literally kept him on this piece of property and was basically, in another way of saying it, torturing him.
Yeah,
and he wanted out.
We're going to get deeper into that aspect.
But you can have attachments simply by looking at a piece of property and you're not even on the property.
Right.
So, but because I knew that I had something, I knew that I knew it was a boy and a male, but I didn't realize that they can actually attach themselves to your soul cord. I mean, he was terrified of this other spirit. And when he saw me, and I didn't even think he saw me, to be quite honest, I thought and apparently he saw the specific kind of light that I found out later that I do when I'm on a property like that, but I'm at home, but yet I'm on a property, and wow, it was a heck of a learning experience. But yeah, you can have an attachment just by even doing, whether it's a remote view or a the in your higher self or even an astral. So, and I did. I felt like I was pregnant. I was like, whoa, man. What the hell happened to me? But we got it taken care of and we got him crossed over. But yeah, you can have an attachment real fast.
Yep.
You gotta take it very carefully and know what the hell you're doing.
Okay, I got a question.
To remove that attachment. Yeah.
Can anybody get an attachment, or are some people more prone to it, kind of like Velcro?
So anybody can get one, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
yes, you can.
But they can be drawn more to the psychic, more to your empath, more to your sensitive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The difference being your psychic, empath, and sensitive are more prone to identify that, oh my God, I got me an attachment. Whereas the normal person is going to walk out. The normal person is going to walk out and go, oh my God, I don't know what happened, but I've got this pain in my back. I've got this pain in my shoulder blades, and the attuned paranormal investigator who is going to go, oh, okay, you didn't ground and shield before you went in, did you? No. Which grounding and shielding is the first step, and it's really your ultimate protection, but it's not a fail-safe. It's not, doesn't mean you're not going to walk out with an attachment necessarily, because if they want to attach it, they will.
Yeah.
Now, one way. So usually when we went boots on ground, we also had astral with us. One, so they could actually survey the team, make sure we stayed safe, make sure nothing was near us that was going to attack us if they couldn't handle right then and there. And two, for the attachment, because they can see attachments much better than we can feel them sometimes. One method to remove them is to cast them into a crystal. So a crystal can actually act as a trap, an entrapment, or a lockbox, essentially. So we actually did pull one attachment off and put it into a crystal. We threw the crystal into the bay. It's salt water. It's trapped in there.
Just make sure, I'm going to clarify with that. Make sure that you do not, that crystal does not have any cracks in it.
Well, it wouldn't be very effective, now would it?
Most
but even if there's a small
flaws.
crack, even if it has a small flaw in it, it can be used for an escape mechanism.
Right.
Almost every crystal out there has a flaw in it.
It does.
Some form.
But it also depends on the strength of the spirit, the strength of the entity, whatever you're putting into it.
Correct.
While we're on that, entities trapping spirits. And I can't tell you how many cases we did where there was, enormous activity going on with the client. And what it came down to was a very strong entity that was trapping 5 innocent spirits. Usually once you remove, destroy, whatever, the main malevolent entity, your 5 spirits are going to pass over willingly. They don't want to be there. They never wanted to be there to begin with. It's nothing more than, like I said last week, I think spirit trafficking, spirit enslavement. I mean, for lack of a better term. We didn't really quite finish the talk last week either about not all spirits need to be passed over. Use the hub for an example.
True.
Yes. That's our guardian spirit.
There's a 21-year-old spirit in the hub that died in, what was it, 1920? 1900? Something like that. He's in the prime of his life in his world. He's not causing any problems. In fact, he's quite protective towards the female patrons, because there is a malevolent entity that was going in there that was actually kind of voyeuring and stalking female patrons. So, yeah, you don't always have to pass over. And oftentimes, like we kind of started to say last week, a lot of spirits don't know they passed on. So once you break it to them that they have passed on, and yes, there's not actually intruders in your house, you're kind of the intruder, but it was your house to begin with, so we can recognize that. And we've actually brokered deals with spirits and clients, where the client goes, oh, well, damn, they owned this house before we they built this house? Okay. Well, if they stop scaring the dog and the kids, they can stay. And, well, the spirit didn't even know he was scaring the dogs and the kids. To him or her, they were the intruders. So,
right.
You make an arrangement, case closed. Until it's not. But usually, case closed. So, yeah, you take every case with an open mind, for one, obviously. But
that's not true. You don't take every case. There's some you stay the fuck away.
Oh, there's some you stay the fuck away. I don't think we ever stayed the fuck away from any of them.
Yeah, that's not true.
Well, okay, the My Lab's the one we had to walk away from.
No, the 5th call from the frickin' crazy lady in Africa.
Oh, well, that's, yeah. That's not a case. It's a psychiatric case. It's just harassing us at that point in time. Yeah, that was Africa too, wasn't it? Yeah. So, to me, back in the 90s when really the paranormal first actually started kicking off full speed, you had this team over here that we don't have a psychic. We don't need no damn psychic. Psychics are frauds. They'll never have any part in the paranormal field. And you had the same argument with the psychics going, well, science will never be used. Science is never, you had, to me, the perfect team is one that has your scientist. Not someone that graduated high school and says they know science, because they would graduate high school 50 years ago, but an actual scientist. What?
Yes, I absolutely agree there. It's important to bridge science and spirit. That's one of the things that I really focus on in this world. And, I really love science and I really love the metaphysical world. So, understanding both realms really, a lot of people try to disprove things in that way, but really it actually helps to prove it if you start to understand, different sides of quantum science and quantum physics and different parts of spirituality that really connect, and it gets really exciting when you do that.
Yeah, one thing I will say about the whole science thing, don't assume that just because they have a degree.
Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah, yes.
I know quite a few people, one in this actual very room, who never got a degree in most of the scientific
and she knows more about quantum physics than most of your degreed professors in Harvard.
Well, every time she's talked about it on this show, we all shut up because we didn't know what the hell.
Oh no, I know. But then you actually have degreed scientists that have no fucking clue what the scientific theory actually means. So I'll leave it at that. But you do want somebody that knows what the hell they're doing with science, ideally on your team. You also want a vetted and good at what they do psychic, because they actually go good together. Between that and your instruments. And I'll go over a case where we had all of them corresponding here in a minute. I'm looking here. And in the psychiatric field, it's always good also to have a psychiatric therapist. It doesn't have to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but at least a mental health professional that's been in their field of study for a while to help assess whether it's a psych case or paranormal or both.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes they can be feeding off each other, and you have to kind of break the cycle, get them on medication or back on their medication or whatever, and then all of a sudden the voices and apparitions go away. I just had a thought and it went away. With mental health. Anyway, it'll come back. Anyway, we had a case in Oak Harbor where a client was talking about noises coming from the attic, and it just had a real uncomfortable energy to it. They were about to try to sell the house and move if they couldn't fix the problem. So we had our psychic with us. We had the astral team on standby. We went over the pre-investigative questionnaire, which we'll actually talk about that here shortly in depth. So first thing we did is took our EMF meters out, our digital thermometers out, and we walked through the house. Now, right off the bat, we already had high readings just walking into the house. I'm not going to go by that.
Lovely.
Because oftentimes that can be bad wiring. That can be a house that was wired in the 1920s, and you have, just high fields. But the farther into the house we came, it actually targeted to an attic door where it was pegged out. And so we finished our assessment, came out, asked the client what was in the attic. He didn't know. He had no idea. He'd never been up there before. Like, okay. Now, we have our medium off to the side. She hasn't heard anything. And I like sitting a medium in, not knowing anything about the case, doing a cold read.
Good.
They
black, go in black.
Yeah, you go in dark. Because if you know anything about...
That's the word I was looking for.
Right. If you know anything about the case, they're going to go in with a bias anyway. And all of a sudden, what's actually going on becomes something else because the psychic picked up on a different vibe. So, the psychic goes in, comes out, says, oh my God, yeah, there's something nasty. And it seems to be emanating from the attic. Not sure what it is, but there's a real malevolent energy coming from the attic. Okay, so now we've got a high reading coming from the attic with our instrumentation. Our psychic has validated it. Now you sit in the astral team, which again is going in dark. So I call the astral team. They go in, and they call me back 10 minutes later going, oh my God. So I've never seen a creature like this before. It was in the attic, and it looks like a fucking ape with fangs. What do you want us to do? Like, well, remove it. So they removed it. So, first thing we do is send the psychic back in reverse order now. Psychic goes back in and says, oh my God, the whole house is just, the energy's raised, you can't even tell there was a problem. And, the final validation of it would be your EMF, because if it's high if it's bad wiring or something like that, your EMF is not going to change. If it was an entity emanating from the attic and it's gone, there's not going to be a high EMF reading. So, again, we walked through and EMF was back to normal. No readings.
Nice.
That to me is the perfect textbook.
I prefer using an EMP. Then there's definitely
Well, we're going to talk about
ever again.
Oh yeah. Straight lines, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I do want to talk about the difference between an EMF and a Geiger counter later on in the show. That came up in Darrington. You got a
yeah. Well, if you have a radioactive ghost, I'm sure that would.
Oh yeah, Geiger counter would come into play. But anyway, to me that was the perfect textbook example of where your instrumentation, your psychic, and your astral would actually all correlate and come to a complete closure. So the final test, obviously, was when the clients went in and said, "Oh my God, what do you guys do? There's nothing but peace in here now. We can actually live here comfortably." And, didn't hear anything else after that. So, that to me, again, is where you do need your psychic, your instrumentation, your tech toys, basically. And again, tech toys by themselves are not science. That irritates the hell out of me. Oh yeah, we're a scientific team. We have our EMF meter, our oh God, what's that? Perimeter meter.
Dot finder.
Yeah.
We have our paranormal puck.
Yeah, your paranormal puck.
And this iPhone with this awesome app. Check it out.
Oh, don't get me started on apps. Oh my God, no. What do you guys think about apps?
I enjoy them.
There's an app for that.
Potato skins, matzo sticks. I love them. What?
Oh, yes, I'm going to use a Spirit Box app on my cell phone.
Did somebody just say there's an app for pointy sticks?
There is.
What?
I just heard that. Did
I'm
somebody
still working
actually
on that.
say that?
Yeah,
There's
it's
an
called
app for
Grinder.
everything.
Huh.
Oh, no. An app for pointy sticks.
Oh.
Oh, dear.
Okay, so to wrap...
What would it do?
Actually, there's like 100 apps for pointy sticks.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
How to make one?
Huh?
How to make one in 3 steps?
Stick Fighter, Stick of Titans, Stick Hero,
Stick Man?
Stick Fight,
Stick Man.
You could be
Yeah,
a stick
stick man,
hero,
stick
Joe.
man.
Stick Nodes,
Oh.
Anger of Stick.
All right, so to top off...
I love every show that devolves into pointy sticks.
Oh, of course you fucking do. So to wrap up the last 4 topics,
No,
you guys
so
have
many
anything else
things
to
could
add
be
to it?
said.
Are you going to answer Robert White, Kayla?
What?
Are you going to answer Robert?
Oh, what's Robert's question? Oh, good God, no. No, don't go there. Don't go there.
Go ahead, Kayla. You brought it up.
You know what? Go ahead and go there. I'm going to fill my coffee cup real quick.
Well, most of them on there are 50 plus, so.
Oh. I wasn't joking. Oh, shit.
Just no wand waving in the mall toilets.
Oh.
Ooh.
Wand waving.
Whether you're
Robert
using Tinder
Paxton?
or
Oh, boy.
Grindr, you should not
Where
be
is this
meeting in the mall
conversation
toilet.
Oh.
Nikki had to go for a moment.
Yeah, I know.
She was having issues.
Oh, shit. Oh. Oh.
Alright, where are we paranormally now?
All right, so fairies.
We went to fairies?
Oh,
That's
right.
not
Right after
No.
all the pointy stick talk, we go to fairies. Okay,
Well, that was
what do you
really-
got?
Wait a minute. We had gorillas with fangs in an attic and all these horrible attachments. Now you're going to fairies.
Yep.
They got the fairies excited.
So I think a lot of paranormal teams don't understand that not everything paranormal is just a spirit or an alien or a Bigfoot, but the Fey realm does exist, and the Fey realm can actually cause paranormal issues.
So what you're saying is sometimes it's just
Absolutely.
a fairy trying to get your attention.
Or they're stuck in our realm. They don't want to be here anymore than you want them here. The trolls. So we actually had a case where there was something crazy going on in a client's house. And when the astral team got there, they discovered that, well, yes. So one of the questions that we always ask is, have you done any recent remodeling? Well, they had, in this case again, they had done remodeling, which actually opened up a gateway to a troll realm. And no, it's not. This ain't science fiction. Now I know it sounds like it sometimes, but sometimes I wish it was science fiction, but it's not. But they didn't want to be there anymore than the clients wanted them there, because the clients didn't know what the hell was making all the noise and what was making all the chaos.
Well, I know. Who the hell is letting the fucking billy goats across the bridge?
No shit, huh? And so anyway, we just opened up the portal again, let the trolls go home, said goodbye, closed the portal, froze it, sealed it, no more problem. Another case we had was Pixies in Bellingham, where you could actually see on video where the pixies were actually biting. And of course you didn't see the pixies, you just saw where the whelps were forming before the camera. Again, you put the pixies home, you appease them, usually case closed. Not always, sometimes you do have to actually move because you're in the pixie realm. I think my favorite one though was a client that sent us a video of their cat. Now, some fairies help animals, a lot of fairies, they do hate cats. Especially when it's a house cat. And so in this video, you can see the cat freaking out over something you can't see. And then you actually see something that you can't see, pick it up by the tail. Now, they didn't like the cat.
Wow.
They actually picked the cat up by the tail. And so actually when we went in, again, that was a case where they had remodeled their bathroom and their closet. Don't ever touch your closet, folks. Consider your closet a holy space for spirits. I guess that's the easiest way to explain that. But they tend to get really pissed off when you remodel the closet or take the closet out. So
wait, but before you move on, I had a point where I had to leave the house for about a week. And when I came home, there's 2 bedrooms in the house, and for no reason, both closets had clothes hanging on them and stuff. The rods that hold all the shirts and jackets and stuff were broken and on the ground in both closets.
Wow.
Was that the same? Was that the same time where you had the anomaly on the camera, or a different time?
Yes, it was the same time. No, it was another time.
Okay.
It was different.
It was different? Okay. Well, I do think you have shit that just walks through. I think you're in a point in the mountain where, mountains themselves are mystical places. And you're on a mountain. So, you don't have any one thing that's fixed there, but you do have visitors that come through.
Yeah.
I have a plethora of shit that happens here.
Okay, so we already hit number 7, which was not everything's a fucking demon. So we're not going to beat that one up too much. So number 9, because I'm going to skip number 8 because Catholic priest said demons are rare. When batteries. So have you guys ever been on a case, Nikki and Harmony, where you go in and your batteries get drained and you just put new ones in?
Oh, absolutely. In certain portal areas where it's so powerful.
So do you think it's just a spot on the earth where it does drain energy, or do you think it's a spirit that's pulling energy to manifest? What's your thoughts on it? What's your thoughts, Kayla? Because you're shaking your head over there.
I was just looking at it.
I definitely think it's many different factors. I think that sometimes it could be poltergeist energy. Sometimes it could be Earth's different electromagnetic conductivity, and then other times it could actually be, just
a bad
weird,
energizer.
Disturbances, like because you have too many fields going at once, too many electromagnetic fields that are trying to occupy one space at the same time.
It's aliens.
Interference.
It's aliens.
It's aliens.
Yeah, it could be aliens as well.
Yeah.
Or the Fae. The Fae actually mess around with the electromagnetic fields too. Actually.
Yeah.
It's the Phalians.
The Phalians.
The Phalians.
Hey, were you with Michael when he went to East Eddy Ranch, Nikki?
I didn't go that trip. I refused to go.
Okay.
Why?
Because I knew what was going to happen.
I know that trip, his car battery drained, his, what
I know, I saw the evidence.
I mean, James Gillian's amazing. I've actually had him on my show, and it was epic. So, yeah, definitely love East Eddy Ranch.
I just want to visit East Eddy Ranch one time, maybe.
Yeah, we should all go down there.
Yeah, and do a show from there.
At the time, I didn't want to go because I knew exactly what was going to happen, and I did not want to be dealing with an abduction scenario.
Right.
Had no issues with the Sasquatch, but I did not want to deal with an abduction scenario.
So on
especially while I was camping.
Not to mention, on Mount Adams, isn't there a door that opens up on the mountain?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because I've actually seen video of that.
I believe there's two.
Huh?
I believe there's two, but there's only, because I keep feeling that there's two, but I've only ever...
Just the one facing the freeway, really, isn't it? That you can actually see.
Yeah. Yeah. So...
I want to go to Weed, California,
I don't
too.
know if it's facing the freeway or not.
Why?
I just know that...
Shasta.
Excuse me?
I want to go visit Weed, California, and see Mount Shasta.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing there.
Huh?
It's a cool little town.
Yeah,
I
we were down there not too long ago.
I like the town.
About a year ago.
If it's open again, Stewart Springs.
It burned down a couple years
amazing.
ago.
Did it? Shit.
Yep.
Well, then I'll go camp up on Mount Shasta.
There you go.
Mount Shasta and I don't do well together.
That burns down almost every year. I wouldn't go there either.
Mm-hmm.
They make terrible soda.
Pine Forest.
Okay, the only time I've actually had that I've actually seen batteries drain was actually in Darrington at the old mill.
Oh yeah, at Fortson.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
At the old mill, though.
Yep, I've had that same place. That's interesting that you say that.
Yeah, but how much sawdust is running through the air?
It's 100 years ago.
I mean, I'm sure there's residue.
The trees have reclaimed it.
Oh,
It's not a mill anymore.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. I've never been
there
to
was like 100 people living there 100 years ago.
Yeah, it used to be a
really
town.
Amazing.
There's still remnants of the town. There's broken, antique bottles and all kinds of shit there. It was really, but we actually had a Geiger counter on that one as well. And so the EMF was reading high as well as the Geiger counter. A Geiger counter, I think, was reading about 3, which the Earth actually resonates a certain degree of radiation at all times. But that's natural radiation.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I'm not sure what the natural radiation reading normally is anyway. I have noticed Darrington, in the experiences we've had, did register a higher, maybe by 1 or 2 than normal in certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
Now that could be because of Jim Creek, potentially. But if that was the case,
the Ghost Railroad runs right through that. I don't know if you realize that's where that big long path. That's the Ghost Railroad. It's the old railroad. It's no longer functioning. They've removed all the rails and everything, but people still hear the train. There's no train that comes out here.
They hear a train here too.
Yeah, Ghost train.
It's kind of weird. But then you have to ask, is the train or is the logging whistle, you know?
Yeah, it is really close to Forson, and people, they camp out here, and we do different retreats, and my drum circles and things, and people camp out, and they say, wow, it's so cool, I got to hear the train, and I'm like, you guys know there's no train, and they're like, what? No, it was right down there. I'm like, yeah, well, let's go, let me show you the old railroad and stuff, and we go down there. There's still some old relics. There's like part of the old mill, and it's all reclaimed by the forest. There's like a tree growing out of the middle of one of the old buildings. It's so cool. And then there's the old remnants of the safe room for the old county store and bank. It's really quite cool. And there's some old cars out there that have been swallowed up by the nature, and yeah, it was a functioning town. I was actually going to be part of a project there that shut down just before the shutdown, and that shut down right at the shutdown. And it was wildcrafting a wilderness area for like wilderness sighting. I was going to put in a plant walk, and we had the county and archaeologists come out there. And they were telling us, you know, a lot of the finds, and they flagged a bunch of things. And so I got to be part of that tour and find out a lot about this old town. It was really fascinating. And I take my son fishing there all the time. And it's a kids-only pond. And then there's the river as well.
Right.
But it's kids-only pond, and it's really cool. And whenever I go there, there's some kind of fascinating experience. And we even saw some Sasquatch footprints in there in the snow. And, you know, we tried to, rationalize it away and try to say maybe they were, you know, some kind of snowshoes, or we were trying to figure it out. But they literally just, disappeared up into the hill where, it was all just, ferns and stuff. It was definitely not somebody who would be snowshoeing, and it wouldn't be a path that they would go on. And they did not have any shape of snowshoes, when you looked up close. It was really fascinating. There's a lot of really cool experiences we've had there, so check it out.
And that's something you notice too. And I you see a lot of UFO activity in the same areas as you have Bigfoot activity.
Right.
Which I had a discussion with someone here just a few days ago, actually, and I told her to go watch the video on YouTube, the Alien Bigfoot Connection. Which I don't agree with everything they say. I don't think Bigfoot is an alien. I don't think Bigfoot really has much to do with aliens. I'm kind of on the side of Keith too, that there is another race of Bigfoot that actually is an alien race, because you do hear reports of a more brownish creature that's shorter in stature.
Right.
And
Chewbacca, too, from the Star Wars.
Yeah, and they appear by orbs. Whereas I don't think Bigfoot as a creature does materialize as orbs. I think he's just here. I do think
I was actually just talking about that on my show with the people from Bigfoot Evidence.
Okay.
That's my next episode that I'm launching here either today or tomorrow. I'm just trying to upload it to YouTube right now.
Perfect.
Yeah, fascinating. Synchronicities.
So, what's your thoughts on the mundane versus the paranormal?
In what way?
In what way is... So you have somebody that's talking about knocks, they hear voices, they hear... they see spots of light. They have apparitions. What are some of the mundane things that might be happening that isn't paranormal that's causing these things?
Carbon monoxide poisoning.
Perfect. That's the answer I wanted.
Yeah.
Which is why...
Like aging
Radon.
in the house.
Yep. Oh, wait. Real quick. Joe, as a geologist, is there any type of rock that actually emanates more radiation than others?
Well, yeah, the radioactive ones.
Oh, okay, but natural. So, huh? Well, yeah, no shit. But
Well, asteroids, asteroids and things like that.
So you got shale,
and
but you got shale, you got granite, you've got all these different types of sediment.
Basically, most rocks, your igneous rocks, the sedimentary rocks, and all those, they don't really emit radiation. You have to have some type of radioactive source in the rock.
Okay.
And that can come from, like things like uranium and all the others. There's a few other ones that are very radioactive, but they're very rare.
Okay. Yeah, I just wondered
but generally rocks don't, emit radiation.
Okay. I was trying to think of a mundane, again, explanation of why there would be a higher source of radiation. If it was something was some sort of rock, if it was some sort of a geological explanation.
Well, if there's something in the area,
yeah.
I mean, it can be something really deep, but it's pretty powerful and it will radiate over a large area. There are if you go over the surface of the Earth, or even the Moon, or even Mars, they've checked it out, and they map radiation areas, and it's not uniform. There's higher sections in one place than another, and it's just part of the geology. And like I said, some rocks are more radioactive, and they'll be in one area, and they emanate out, and then when those rocks you get to the surface, and they'll degrade and turn into sediments, that radiation doesn't really go away.
Right.
So it spreads.
Okay.
Well, and to be perfectly honest, how many barrels did we bury where?
Oh, no, absolutely.
Oh, God.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So getting back to the mundane. So what can cause, say, abnormal knocks? Well, your water pipes, heating,
mold.
Your air ducts.
Forgetting you ordered DoorDash.
Yeah.
A husband
That
who
too.
thinks he's funny.
That too. You wake up with scratches. Do you have a cat? Does your partner have air pressure build up? Mold, black mold can cause hallucinations and breathing problems and all kind of shit. And that kind of goes with your mundane dangers of the paranormal.
Acid.
Acid reflux.
No acid.
Okay, acid.
Yeah, batteries that get old, that corrode, can cause issues if they're sitting anywhere near around other toxic items.
Well, like Rob makes
that may be leaking.
A good point here.
LCD.
That we used to. Sorry. Continue.
Well, I'm talking about the drug. Like, it causes hallucinations, and actually 90%. Well, I'm not going to say 90%.
Meth
At
lab?
least 50% of our ghost stories in the United States from the 70s and 80s are drug related.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
mushrooms.
The question is, though,
Ecstasy.
is it the drug causing the hallucination, or is the drug allowing the person to see what's there?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I'm going to say
word for
it
word.
depends on the drug.
Oh my gosh.
They made a movie about
LSD?
this called Sausage
It's the drug.
Party.
LSD.
Yes.
Yeah, your perception so that you can see things that are actually there that aren't being seen from this perspective, from the realm that we're in at this moment,
Well, and most of your LSD in the 70s, you can thank the CIA for.
Right?
That was part of the MK Ultra project.
LSD and Binkies. Woo.
Documented.
Yeah.
Timothy Leary and all those guys.
Let's see.
That's the thing. You're talking about environmental factors, and you hit on it in the 60s and 70s or whatever. But a lot of the shit that people are taking nowadays, it's just rotting their minds. All the fentanyl that's out there, and God knows what else people are taking. I saw a thing where people are snorting horse tranquilizers.
Oh,
and it's like, okay, so there's a lot of damaged brains out there. And you're driving next to these people and shopping next to them in the stores every day, and they're Looney Tunes.
Yeah, but every time I go to Walmart, I lose about 20 brain cells just walking into the store.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I have to shield and do a lot of energy work if I ever go in there.
Thank you.
And I have to drink. I get extra dehydrated. My daughter, her eczema freaks out. All of her allergies start freaking out. Yeah, there's something to it.
Yeah, and different pieces of property. Yeah, you can walk into any store and there's all kinds of issues.
Sleep paralysis. So sleep paralysis has also been found, and that's for a quick definition of sleep paralysis. That's where you're basically your brain wakes up before your body can move.
Now, to be perfectly honest here, there's a huge difference between sleep paralysis and certain types of seizures.
Okay, go into it.
Okay, because you can go into a Foucault state.
Hold on.
From different types of seizures. They can cause you to go into a Foucault state. They can cause you to have the same sights and symptoms as sleep paralysis.
Yep.
And honestly, when we took
sleep
cases...
apnea
sleep apnea, yeah, because you're not getting enough oxygen through the brain while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
So, absolutely.
I mean, you got to look at their medical past too.
Well, and that's why a lot of the cases that we did, we actually recommended or asked the client if they had, been to, especially when you're talking alien abduction, where you've got nosebleeds, you've got, a wide array of bruising, of things of that nature, and so
those are also signs of anemia.
Anemia. There are signs of thinning air. You have to weed out
hemophiliacism.
The mundane. So, have you been to a doctor to assess your blood? Have you been to a doctor to assess is there anything in your sepsis that's causing your nosebleeds? Is there things of that nature?
Yeah, it's when you have done all that stuff and tried to narrow it all out, and then it still is persisting. That's when it's usually questionable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what happened with me when I was a kid in 6th grade. I had nosebleeds exactly the same time every day for 42 minutes every day. And they could not figure it out, and medically they tested me up one side and down the other. And to this day, I think it had to do with the ETs because of the fact that around that same time period was when I was having issues with my upper inside of my mouth and never understood why. And
implants.
It wasn't until about 2.5, 3 years ago that I had a memory, a screen memory drop and a memory of my mouth being shattered by the ETs.
Okay.
So that and they did something up inside my sinus cavity and up in my nose, and to this day I'm freaked out over it. I'm just like, what do you say? So I mean, people can have that kind of thing and definitely check every aspect of medical first.
Well, you might find that that's the thing. You might find you actually have an implant in your nose, in your nasal cavity.
Exactly. Check medical first.
You're having a nosebleed every day at the same time, every day, and you're in different places. Yeah, I don't think that's medical.
No, that wouldn't be medical at the same time, because that means you're being taken at the same time every day, or once a week, or And so getting into this, so we'll stay with this topic for a little bit. When it comes to the abduction side, so I didn't get into UFOs and abduction until about 1994. And, I knew somebody that was actually being taken to the point that there was a false pregnancy because it was part of the gray hybrid program. There we go.
Agenda?
Yeah, no, gray hybrid program. That's what I was trying to think of. To the point that this person went to Madigan, and Madigan even diagnosed that, yes, she had been pregnant, but there was no fetus, and it was not aborted. They could tell just based on the fact that the hormones were there. There was no, it was just a missing fetus. And they were baffled. Wow. This followed by the dreams of being taken back on a craft, yada, yada.
Right.
So the first book, and I recommend anyone that's actually interested in the abduction phenomena to pick up Dr. David Jacobs' Secret Life of Abduction. Probably the best book I ever read in the beginning that actually went into the hybrid program. Now, I'm not an advocate of hypnotherapy. I know some people are. I'm not into hypnotherapy because of the fact that if you get the wrong hypnotherapist, the way they ask questions can be misleading. And they did a study at one point where they had 10 people that were actual self-claimed abductees and 10 people that had no knowledge whatsoever. When it was said and done, all 20 walked out perfectly convinced that they were abductees. So if you have false memories implanted by the questioning of a bullshit hypnotherapist, that's a problem. You don't get valid information out of a hypnotherapist. That basically throws all that information out. So yeah, when it comes to physical signs, always get a medical expert advice. Whether it's Bigfoot, whether it's an alien abduction, or whether it's you're investing ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
I will say there are really good quality hypnotherapists out there, but you have to be extremely selective.
No, I agree. I agree with you.
Really selective.
They're not all bad, but I mean, there was a case in Michigan that was well documented. It was a truck driver that was on the road. His wife was talking about aliens and being abducted. He came home very rapidly. There was actually a ring embedded in his yard where she said the craft had landed. So there you've got physical evidence. She went to a hypnotherapist. She committed suicide while he was on the road. Can you really 100% fault the hypnotherapist? Maybe, maybe not. Was she already depressed from the fact that she's being taken by a creature that nobody can stop? Probably. But, you put the two together, I'd say, yeah, I'd sue the hypnotherapist. Just my take on it. But that's a well-documented case.
No, that's where you get into counseling. But see, then that gets into a whole other subject of dealing with, there are not many counselors who actually deal with ET abductions or who deal with paranormal issues.
Not in a serious nature.
That's huge. Yeah, that's
most of them just think you're a crackpot, and they're going to treat you like a crackpot from the beginning. And that's the other part. If you do have a good hypnotherapist, some of those doors in your mind are shut down for a reason. Because you're not ready to face those demons. Or in this case, aliens. But so when a hypnotherapist is probing and prodding and getting you to open those doors, that is going to lead to potential for a depressive situation leading to suicide. Or drugs, or
drugs that can lead to suicide.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess that's my, and there's been good stories involving hypnotherapists. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're all bad, but be very selective.
Right. Yeah, extremely selective.
So moving along. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask a question. So with hypnotherapists, say you're going to one just for something mundane, like you're trying to kick smoking, or if you're under hypnotherapy, can something attach you like in an astral sense, could you have an entity in each?
Well, you are open.
So, okay.
Right.
I didn't know if that would be the same sort of
great question,
psychological
but yes.
Yeah.
And
it's kind of like with alcohol. That's why they call it spirits. It's because you change your stable frequency into that of like altered state, whether that be through a substance or through some kind of hypnosis, or going into theta, or however through meditation. These different states, if you're not careful and you're not intentional about it, make it, very intentional and aware about just the possibility of that, it could absolutely affect you on that level of allowing attachment.
But Rick, that's with anything. So a hypnotherapist, absolutely. But you go drinking too much and you get drunk, you're open again. You take different drugs, you're open again. Anything can attach at any point in time. Anytime your mind is weakened, you're open. And there were school boards that were actually kicking out yoga teachers out of their schools because, oh my God, the kids are doing yoga. They can have demonic possession. I mean...
Oh, wow. It never even occurred to me. Being from the South, I just assumed it was they hated liberals.
Some religions believe it's evil. So, it's like anything. I don't drink alcohol anymore, but I do make tinctures and use it as medicine. So it's the amount that's, used and like the level and the person that is hypnotizing you, right? And their intentions.
But you know what? Here's the thing with that. You're going to find fear if you're looking for fear. Do you sit here and worry about being attacked by something?
Well said.
No. If you're looking for it, it's going to find you. So sure, go out and get drunk. Go do some yoga. You're not you're not going to get attached by no damn demon.
That's not going to help, Mike.
Huh?
That's not
drunk yoga sounds like a great business plan.
Doesn't it? Yeah. Open up a yoga bar.
Yeah.
That's the new wave of the future. Yoga bars.
I don't fucking think so, Tim.
Like apps, there's a bar for everything.
There was like a really cool bar up on Capitol Hill a long time, 20 years ago, called the Gravity Bar, and they would serve wheatgrass shots and smoothies, and I'll tell you what,
oh God,
that was a good time. We'd drink wheatgrass and go to the
really no gravity
to the thing.
When you're drunk.
I like oxygen bars.
That's different.
It's perfect when you have to be at work 4 hours after being hammered.
Right? Wake you right up.
Friend.
We call those IHOPs in Texas.
No, seriously, you walk in and you buy a mask and they feed you a certain amount of oxygen straight to your frickin' head. And, friend.
Yeah.
It sobers you right up.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
All right, cultural differences with paranormal. And I'm going to use a perfect example of that. So, when we were in Germany, and here's a big difference. If the same thing would have happened here in America, we would have been laughed out of the housing office. So, in Dettelbach, Germany, we lived in an apartment above a Greek restaurant with a little winery right next to it. I mean, it would have been an awesome place, but it had a very malevolent spirit that we didn't really discover for about the first 3 months. Well, 9/11 happened, and was that? Yeah, I was there in 9/11. Okay, we got moved into housing shortly after 9/11, but it got bad to the point where pictures were moving on their own, like on the wall. There was no earthquake. There was no mundane anything. I think the final straw was when the knife flew across the kitchen and embedded in the wall. Just missed my head.
It was the sausage that did it.
Was it the sausage?
Yeah.
Damn, sausage?
I'm starting to get a fear of sausage.
Well, when you go to the housing office,
I fear the worst.
Right. And they're asking you to explain why you need to move, and you tell them very embarrassed like that, well, we have a ghost in our house, and the German that is actually running the housing says, "Oh my God, you have a Geist? Okay, you don't go home. You go. Do you have a place to stay?" And we're like, "Yeah, right now we're staying at a friend's house. If you stay at your friend's house, we will have you in housing in 2 days on post."
Right.
Now,
I understand it.
the exact same scenario, if I was at Fort Lewis and went to housing and said, "I've got a ghost," they would have laughed and said, "Suck it up, Buttercup. Fuck off." Literally. So, when you're looking at cultural differences where I think Europe is more open-minded overall to paranormal, what's your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I've heard that people in England, if you go to tell them a ghost story, they'll listen to it. Everyone there believes in them, as opposed to the United States.
Right.
I think that depends on the area too.
Maybe so. Okay, if you go to the south, you talk about seeing ghosts on the Gettysburg battlefield.
I mean, in England.
Oh, okay.
I think that's like, even though they're a lot smaller country, they still have quite a few differences in their areas. And some are more accepting than others, I think.
They are, and I think when it comes to conspiracy theories, oh my God, you bring up reptilian queen, and some of them will get mad.
Oh, they'll kill you.
Yeah, but on the other side, you've got a lot of
That's
English.
Too close to the truth.
But you've got a lot of English that actually believe that, or believed that. So, but I do think overall, England, Germany, Europe in general, is way more open. But let's look at it though.
Well, could it be
America,
because in places like Europe,
right?
Mostly people aren't moving around all over the place. They're raised and they die within 5 miles of where they were born. For generations, the people they don't move a lot. They don't migrate a lot. Whereas the United States, people are moving around all the time.
Well, let's take it a step further.
Plus, their history goes back a lot further.
Okay, no, you just went where I was going. America overall is a very young country compared to Europe. Europe is thousands of years old. It is. Maybe different cultures, but overall.
Well, it's all the same.
Been people there for a long time.
Europe's like 4 billion years old, just like the rest of your dumbass.
Yeah, I think it's very
You know what I'm saying?
dependent, because even here in the Americas, the understanding of, the other worlds is much deeper when you go into our indigenous background.
Right.
And
they've been here for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to put it this way.
But the Europeanized, colonized Americans, they definitely aren't as old as the Europeans. So I understand what you're saying.
But like, you look at our population compared to Europe's.
Right.
Like, you got to think, for most of the major genocides in the last 100 years, all of our guys went over there and died. Plus, they had the plague. They had the Crusades. Like, they have had more death on that continent than we will ever probably see.
Absolutely. And then you got the Puritans coming here.
Have you been to Detroit?
I think what irritates me is, so you got the Puritans that came over here originally. And the Puritan culture, oh my God. So, the Native Americans they encountered were heathens and savages and worshiped the devil in their view, which led really to what they call the witch hangings, because it's not burnt, which none of those people...
the witch trials.
The witch trials. None of them were actual witches.
One burnt, but that's because she sucked at cooking.
Finger pointing game.
Well, and actually, not all of them. One of them actually died because they laid rocks on him, and they wanted him to confess to being a witch, and he ended up saying, add more weight, which shocked him.
Add more weight, right?
But they added more weight, and he crushed to death.
Death by geology.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and it was crazy because they would say, if you died, then you were a witch because you weren't protected by our God. But if you lived, then you were a witch because you had supernatural powers. So basically, they killed him no matter what.
What kills me even more is when they did the dunking booth. So if they threw you in water and you floated, it meant the water didn't accept your spirit. So you were dead. But if you wound up floating or sinking to the bottom, that meant you weren't a witch, but you were dead anyway. So what the hell was? Yeah.
Right, that was exactly what I was referring to as well.
It was just,
I would just sink and then swim away underwater.
Yeah,
hi guys, I'm out.
Well, most of the time a big part of the time was during the winter. A lot of the times when they were doing during the Inquisition and the Pendleton witches and whatnot, it was winter time. You're going to get hypothermic being thrown into a pond anyway.
Right.
Anyway, so and I think we kind of answered it. But I do think in the last 10, 20 years we've actually seen an opening of minds and a more acceptance of paranormal in the last 10, 20 years in America.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just based on a number of reality shows based on the supernatural. That they wouldn't be putting it on the network if people weren't watching.
No, absolutely. So. Absolutely. And anymore, you walk up to 1 in 5 people. No, we're not. So if you walk up to 5 people and ask them if they believe in the paranormal, I'd say 3 to 4 of them would say yeah.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
They'd say no and then tell you a ghost story that they had.
Yeah. Right. A ghost story.
I don't believe in the paranormal, but I saw a ghost one time.
Right.
And they'll tell you the story.
And what's interesting is, so our FMP sweatshirts that we've got when we were a team actually has an alien on it. Does it? Yeah, it's got an alien. I had to double check. And it was interesting because the number of people that walk up to you and go, "Oh my God, you believe in aliens?" And that started up a whole other conversation. Versus, it's got a ghost. It's got a Bigfoot. It's got all aspects of the paranormal. But I think more and more people are actually starting to look at the skies. They're starting to believe that, oh my God, there might be something else besides us. I'd really hate to think it was ancient aliens that caused that, because, well, it might be aliens, but it's aliens. It might not be aliens, but it's aliens.
Okay, now, here's the thing. So the show Ancient Aliens has some serious flaws in it, for sure.
Right.
Some serious
intelligence.
The first one, me and that weird-haired dingbat, so yes.
But it did open people's mind to the possibilities.
Right.
And it made people start thinking, hey, that could actually be real, and doing different research to see.
Yeah, but the problem is, if you open your mind with false information,
right,
you're just feeding it from the start, and they continue watching that show because
they must be right.
That's where they started.
Yeah, exactly, Rick. It's a lose-lose. No, I do agree. It put the thought in their head, and ideally, they went and did their own research. But how many of them did? Versus just continue to watch the bullshit in Ancient Aliens. Where, and I know...
Wait.
I say this
No one does any research. I mean, people will say, oh, yeah, well, I believe I've researched. Well, they've looked at a couple of headlines. Most people will spend no time at all doing research, but they'll spend 15 minutes taking a quiz to find out what kind of potato they are.
Hey, that's an important fucking thing to know, okay?
I'm an Idaho potato.
I believe Idaho.
Idaho?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a Yukon Gold.
You're a Yukon Gold? Yes, so safe?
Purple potato all the way here.
Oh, God, there's 3 of us. Okay.
I'm a russet.
All my kids.
Of course you are.
They're fingerlings.
You're a fingerling.
That's gross, Kayla.
Oh, wow. So...
Dirty talk. Potatoes.
Can entities cross culture?
What?
Can entities cross culture? So
Oh, yeah.
the fairies of the Black Woods in Germany, can they be found here? Can you find jinn from the Middle East? In
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Okay.
Yes, they just have different names.
So
different languages to describe the same energies.
Keeping on the trend of culture, you know, I heard about soldiers in Iraq that brought back rocks, or they brought back artifacts, and there was a jinn attached to it. And then all of a sudden they started talking about depression and I'm going to kill myself and yada yada. Never mind, they probably had PTSD as well, which would also lead to depression and not a jinn. But is it possible?
Yes.
I'd say absolutely. Huh?
Alcohol
Yeah.
doesn't help the situation.
No, well, not to mention, well, we
Doesn't matter
couldn't,
whether it's gin, vodka, or whiskey.
we couldn't drink in Iraq, but you know what happened. We couldn't drink in Somalia either, but it happened. It definitely happened. I plead the fifth on that. But yeah, when you're a medic, you have to do what you got to do to ease your mind.
Some cultures, they're not so much. It transfers. Like in France, you know, in the 1500s, whatever, they had the loup-garou, which were the werewolves.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
a lot of those people migrated to Louisiana and
Yep.
New Orleans. That was all French territory.
You know
and
what?
now they have the rougarou.
I love that. I love that creature.
The werewolf. There you go.
That creature's cool.
Yep.
Well, they also have the Beast of Lagauden in France.
Well, they say that maybe one of them came over here.
It's possible
With the migration.
But do you think it came over
Why
here,
would it be
or
one?
do you think
You'd have to have two in order to make a family.
No, but do you think an actual creature came over here, or do you think it came over here with the culture as a thought form because of enough people believing in the loup-garou?
I think the actual creature.
Could be both. It could be both.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I believe that actual physical, because you can get invasive species of, fire ants in Texas.
Right.
Well, they came. Everything has come over from somewhere. That's why they do so much to California. I know is really big on, if you're coming over into the state, they're checking for fruit, which I thought was so freaky. I was like, why is there a border check going into California? Because it's, I guess, of the tsetse flies.
They don't stop you. I had a banana. They didn't stop me to take my banana away.
They will stop and check. They did us.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's only
certain
certain
fruits.
types of fruit.
They didn't stop every car that went through,
No,
though.
we were fucking profiled.
But if you're coming across the border with, 50 pounds of fentanyl in your backpack, come on in. We'll give you a driver's license and a hotel room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But
yes,
oh my God, don't have an apple.
Oh,
I
God.
was just going to say apples, yeah.
Yeah.
Apple
So
maggot.
what do you guys think about jinn? Do you think jinn and demons are the same? Do you think they're two different races?
Two totally separate races.
Agreed. Okay.
Agree.
Jinn are
One's blue,
freaking
one's
awesome.
Which one's red?
The demon.
Ah. Okay.
I like the gin.
Okay.
They're blue.
I just got told to keep my mouth shut, so...
Tell us! Tell us, wench!
What's the worst that can happen to you? Come on. They're going to laugh you to death.
Two. I'm not going to get my ass in trouble with them.
Huh?
She could get tossed into the Cave
Pussy.
of Wonders.
Yeah, exactly. No shit.
Okay.
If I'm gonna
Shut your
keep
mouth
working
then.
with the two of them, there's no way.
10,000
Okay, I'm going to save that story for the end. Moving along, training. So when it comes to paranormal teams, what kind of training, because I've got a reason for this question, what kind of training do you think would better any kind of paranormal team?
Yoga.
Yeah, because it can bring a demon and it can tell them all the answers.
Flexibility.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No?
So we always did,
How about just talking to the people and telling them not to freak out and start screaming if they see something.
Well,
how many of these shows that you see on TV, they have these professional teams, you know the shows, and they hear something and they all start going crazy like a bunch of little girls.
They're not professionals. They're experts. Get the word right.
Well, you didn't see it. I did the quote things with my fingers, but you didn't see it.
Oh, okay. No, I can agree with professional, because professional just means you've got ethics. You've got you present yourself as a professional, whereas an expert, to me, you know everything, and you're not willing to bend to, your thought process. Whereas that's why we use the term specialist on the team, because a specialist, you can specialize in ufology, you can specialize in beastology, cryptology, you can specialize in spirits, whatever your field of specialty is, but you're also willing to learn. And that's why we call ourselves specialists, not experts. I hated that word. Still do.
Oh, expert is, the sports equivalent is the GOAT, greatest of all time, way overused. And often, especially in the media, the expert is, anytime you see on Fox News or CNN or any news channel where they've had an expert in whatever field on, that, no such thing. And especially in sciences, because science is always, you're supposed to, like you said, you're supposed to have an open mind.
Right.
Well, there are no experts in science.
No.
You just have people that are scientists.
How can you be an expert in a field that isn't even proven?
Exactly.
Right.
So some examples of the training that we did on FMP was paranormal protection, the paranormal dangers. We covered the legalities, ethics, ufology, cryptology. We covered every aspect of the paranormal. But what we didn't, and what I think all teams need to cover, is symbology. So why would you need to look at symbology? How many times have you seen the damn meme where there's a pentacle, which is a pentagram with a circle around it, which is a symbol of protection in the witch world, not conjuring. It's not a demonic or satanic symbol. But how many times do you see people going, oh my God, it's a satanic symbol?
Okay, so the problem with that, though, is that people have taken certain things and made them into other things. Mm-hmm. So the original meaning of it was lost. Like, a freaking swastika is not a sign of evil.
Exactly.
So that's a whole different category, though. But if you have a Wiccan, for example, that you walk into their home or whatever, and they do have their altar, and they do a Wiccan overall, it's not going to be doing harmful anything. Overall. Not saying it doesn't happen, but overall. Now, where symbology also comes into play, you do walk into an occult, environment. It might be helpful if you actually know which entity they conjured, and they may have conjured a demon. You might want to know that before you go walking your team into the area.
Right.
That's why symbology to me is important. Example of,
Throw them to the wolves.
An example of procurement of symbols is the Jolner, which is Thor's hammer, which true heathens actually use as their symbol of their faith. But you see white supremacists now wearing it, along with the Volkers and many other heathen runes, which true heathenry has nothing to do with white supremacy or any kind of racism.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem, though, is that original symbols.
Well, look at the swastika. The Apache, I think it was the Apaches that actually used the swastika long before the Germans came and took it.
Indians did that.
Right, India did, but I think it was the Apache Nation also used it.
So, I mean, like...
It represents the black sun and the galaxy, like the shape that the four, or the Big Dipper makes in the sky as it turns.
And so currently, not even paranormal related. The reason that's important to me is because we have 9 pagan military groups, and we do weed out the racist heathens. Because it only takes one to give us all a bad name. And you saw that actually January 6th. I'm not going into the politics of it, but you saw what they call the QAnon shaman. And he's invading the Capitol.
Yeah, but you know,
now,
you're going to have bad apples in every
right,
religion.
Okay,
and
but let me finish. Because now, if I were...
I don't even think that was related to QAnon.
No,
I think that was like...
it wasn't. But now, if I walk around town wearing my world tree,
predicted by Matt Groening from The Simpsons.
If
right?
I walk around, but wait, if I walk around wearing my Grazel, my world tree, or if I decide, which I wouldn't because I'm not heathen, I'm a witch, but if I walk around wearing a Thor's hammer, for some, I'm automatically going to be equated that I must be a white supremacist because I'm wearing a Thor's hammer.
Right.
I saw it on
Not
TV.
if you go to Comic-Con.
Well, no.
Back in the 90s, right? Where there was like Bloods and Crips, and if you wore blue, like you could get shot down. And so like a lot of people just stopped wearing it. It's like these are power symbols, and they're used in many ancient ceremonies, and it's the intention behind how you're using it that gives it the power that it has.
But perfect example.
So if you're using it for malevolent energies, you know, it's going to be a malevolent symbol out there.
My kid wore a pentacle to school, and automatically had 2 kids calling her a Satanist. This is 11 and 12 year old.
Excuse me?
Yeah, this is 11 and 12 year old.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
Right.
Nothing's happened lately of it. I mean, it's not a big deal. I'm using that as an example.
Yeah, somebody asked me that when I used to wear one.
I know you are.
Actually, many people.
That is not okay, somebody doing that.
Nope.
Well, but it does give you the opportunity to educate them, you know, so...
Well,
exactly.
The thing is, a lot of kids get their education from their parents. Mm-hmm. If the parents are telling them, oh my God, this is... They're invoking demons and they're devil worshippers, then of course they're going to bring that thought in. Sometimes.
Right.
Television, dude.
Television too.
No, television.
Yeah, a lot of it lately is
YouTube. Because where are kids?
YouTube, cartoons.
Okay, well, where are kids today? YouTube, watching stupid YouTubers.
But that's the thing. It's not stupid YouTubers. Mm-hmm. It's reels of The Simpsons, Family Guy.
Oh, okay.
American Dad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who all use the pentagram as a sign for Satanism.
And that's wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
But they all do it.
But
I agree.
But
but that's what
it's easily recognized. It's easily recognized, which is why they use it, because it's easy to put a stamp on and go, "Ooh, look, the devil!" And you got to have something to represent.
Well,
honestly, if you see a cross, you automatically assume that person is religious. That's right. That's not necessarily the point. You know what I mean?
Well, they're still religious, just the other side.
Here's an example for you: the pentagram, like you're talking about. Mm-hmm. My mom is one of the grand poobahs in Eastern Star, which is basically the female version of the Masons.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And their symbol is a 5-pointed star in a circle. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with Satanism or any of that shit, but people see it and they go, "Oh my God!" They freak out running from the room with their hair on fire.
Well, some people do that with just the Masonic symbol because of some of the things that it's represented.
Yes, because people don't know what the hell they're doing. People are idiots. What is it? For a long time, if you put your thumb and your index finger together and said, like the OK sign, oh, that was white supremacy. Bullshit.
Yeah.
People are fucking insane when it comes to this stuff.
I thought that meant asshole.
Yeah, the cool thing is we are waking up quite a bit because we've seen it, and we've seen these patterns of these things and these programs not working. And so thankfully we're finally waking up as a collective.
That's okay. I'm going to tell you, 100 years from now, somebody's going to find some random little emoji that somebody put somewhere, and they're going to be like, "Oh my God, these guys were all Satan worshippers."
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about ethics in the paranormal.
Hold on. It's going to be all vegans.
All vegans?
Because they'll find the eggplant.
There's going to be like some kind of cult. The almighty eggplant.
If you think about it, it's just going to be like the Egyptian hieroglyphs. We look at them and say, what do they mean? Well, those are probably just emojis back for the Egyptians.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just symbols. Oh, they mean something.
Well, it's just like you and I were talking here a few months ago, the cave paintings, where it looks like an alien because he's got a bubble around his head. That could have been a football helmet.
Well, no, I drew that
It could also be a depiction of the corona around the head, the aura that's
the halo.
in ancient times.
Yeah.
Okay,
the
so
halo, or like
it could be an alien.
Yeah.
Or
it could be an alien.
But
Glowing.
the problem, so the problem that I have with people and their different cave paintings and their different sculptures and everything like that is, okay, if you were to hand a 5-year-old a crayon and a piece of paper, the way that they draw people is completely screwed up. It looks like an alien. They have too long of arms. They have too long of legs. They have a center body that's weird or a bigger head or whatever, right? So who's to say that some of this stuff wasn't just children's art?
Could have been.
Yeah, but no. Okay, I got it. Okay, they'll draw an elk. They'll look at it and go, "Oh, that's an elk." They'll draw a woolly mammoth. You go, "Well, that's a woolly mammoth," and they'll draw this weird dude and go, "Oh, they just couldn't draw." Bullshit. I couldn't draw a woolly mammoth. They were drawing something they were seeing.
In certain cases, I'll say absolutely, but in other ones that doesn't have the context of the other stuff with it, it doesn't.
Joe,
mean
if
that
they
it's
drew
not.
you, it'd look like a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. See, there you go.
But you're just a guy, right? Like, it's not like we just all of a sudden started in the 15th century having weird body types. We've had them the whole fucking time.
Hey, your average Roman soldier was 5'2".
But that's the average. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean all of them are.
Well, and that's why in the Bible, when they talk about, David versus Goliath, Goliath was probably just a very tall individual. I don't think it was an actual, giant.
Right.
Everything is, metaphorical to a degree. So, you mean, you have
to say, he was this many cubits. It's like, I doubt somebody measured him.
Yes.
Is that an eggplant blowjob?
Sorry.
Yep.
Oh, God. Oh, that's terrible.
Okay.
Terrible.
So we have, 10 minutes. Let's talk about preparation. So I've always pushed medical anytime you go into any kind of paranormal anything, or preparation before you go into anything.
Lube up, people.
The Bubble Bunch. Yeah. Okay. So we always took medical when we went with us. We, dress for the elements. If you're going in the mountains, don't go by what they do on Mountain Monsters, where they're wearing khaki shorts and a bottle of water up in the middle of, frickin' nowhere. Cause,
I think that depends on which mountains you're in.
Well, yeah. But what you don't see is you got a cameraman, you got a paramedic, you got a survivalist, you got a whole team of people with you. How many people went up in the mountains looking? Well, how many people went up in the mountains looking for Bigfoot in their khaki shorts and a bottle of water, and they wound up getting lost?
But there's a couple of those guys, Eric, that do actually dress like that, and they are alone. They have 6 GoPros that they use to film the entire episode.
Uh-huh.
But they do dress like that. Friend, it's
hot! You gotta wear your shorts!
You are not acclimated to that type of weather.
Right.
But a person that is could absolutely go up in shorts and not have an issue.
And that's fine. I usually take a pack with me if I go up anywhere.
Yeah.
Whether I'm in shorts or anything else. That's the point. Know what you're getting into before you go up.
Right, well, and that's the thing, is if you have been to an area so many times that you know how to get out of there no matter which way you get turned or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's totally different than going to an area that you've never been to.
How
and
many,
trying to figure it
how
out.
many of the shows have a disclaimer?
Yeah.
All of them.
All of them
Do
now.
they?
Yeah.
What's the
They
disclaimer?
have to.
So
Entertainment purposes only.
A lot of them would say that, yes, except for, I think it's that Bear Grylls.
Okay.
Maybe? No, it's not. I can't remember the guy's name.
Whatever.
The Survivalist? That's
Okay.
what it's called, though?
But, okay,
Len-
he's got it right in his
Len-
name. He's
Yeah! Yeah.
Which one?
Len something. Or Les.
Len Les.
Yeah, he's got it. But
He goes up by himself.
Oh, Len Strauss?
yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I
So
know.
his show says that he is a professional. He has been hiking for years.
Right.
And
Not
if
all
you are
of them,
not experienced, do not try this.
but not all of them have that shit. That's more my point. So, go up with the day pack. Take some water, a fire starter, a first aid kit. You don't gotta take 50 pounds of gear.
I think the only ones that don't, though, Eric, are ones that people don't expect that from, like Survivor. Like the
I'm just
actual
saying it's
TV shows.
misleading for the ignorant people that go, oh, I want to try that, and they go
So
up
is
and
the
get
fucking
lost.
hotel in the background.
Huh?
So is the hotel in the background on Survivor.
Well, yeah.
Brent, like,
I guess it goes into the Darwin Award.
yeah.
If you're stupid enough to go up there unprepared, you're stupid enough to die and get the Darwin Award.
Well, but the problem
What
with that
comedian
is
was that? Here's your sign.
we as a
Huh?
society no longer allow the Darwin Awards with that kind of stuff. Because we're going to send experienced guys up to go find them, and unfortunately half the time they don't make it back either.
Oh.
So you're not just risking your own life, you're risking the lives of other people around you.
No, absolutely.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's the
And their
shit.
time.
Huh?
And their training. And,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't take everything you need when you go up.
I take my pack, usually. I even throw my
You
pack.
take shit coffee. Let's not talk about this.
Oh, my
Fuck
God.
you.
He's just pissed
You make
off because
Denny's
I take...
coffee?
No, I take Folgers singles because they're much easier.
Oh.
What? You don't like Folgers singles? It's
No.
a tea bag with
I don't
coffee,
drink coffee
in it.
anymore. I'm all about tea time, yo.
Okay, yeah, you are. You are.
Now,
I take the fir tips and make tea.
But to Harmony, if they offered you a dissolving instant tea, would you use that?
She
Not
probably-
usually, because those ones they're made with like crystals. But actually, matcha tea is like kind of like a dissolving instant tea. It's like ground so finely in ceremony that you just pour right over it and drink it down. So it depends on what
So
it
that-
was,
but
you
that-
know.
But that's not the same thing as instant coffee. Instant coffee.
Right.
If you don't have any
Yeah, there is
water,
a
do you
tea.
just snort that stuff?
Wow. I mean, I don't know. You could try.
That could be entertaining.
That could be very educational and entertaining.
That's a YouTube video right there.
Right?
That's a
Or you
Darwin
can take,
Award
or you
right
take
there.
a tea bag. You can take a tea bag and just stick it between your cheek and gum, and
You
like
get the
a bit
caffeine.
of chaw. See how that works.
Absolutely.
That'll work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think in the last few shows we pretty much rounded up paranormal emergencies. The only thing we didn't really cover is ethics. Basically, with ethics,
Don't
go
do
into-
anything unethical.
Don't go into people's personal property without asking first. Don't go to a cemetery and disrespect gravestones.
Unless you plan on making them into ghosts.
Don't disrespect spirits. They might come back and bite you in the ass.
I can say I have never actually been bit in the ass by a spirit.
Yeah, it kind of weirded me out that Nikki said too early. Nikki, how many times have you been bit in the ass?
Oh,
I have been bit on the shoulder.
That's not what you said.
well, I don't want to hear about that one.
Yes, I know that's not what I said, but it can happen.
She wasn't talking about the spirits.
If I can be bit on the shoulder, I could certainly be bit on the ass.
Well, that's
So,
just a shorter one.
It's
Pertaining to
Was
what
it a
Kayla just
sucky?
said, if your own team is biting you on the ass, that's kind of unethical too.
It is.
Oh.
Yeah, that
A little
too.
bit. And you know,
That's a whole other show.
the other pet peeve, if you do actually go out and try to investigate, don't take your cell phone. Or if you do, turn your cell phone off because, oh, wow, that can lead to some, some false readings.
Yeah, but what if you're using the app?
What if you have a ghost app? Yeah.
Then you're stupid.
I mean, Zach Bagan's got a new one out, so.
So anytime we actually had a case, you don't drink before you go in. Obviously, you don't go in when you're sick. You cull off because if you're sick, you're also susceptible. If you're on medication, you could be susceptible. If you're drunk, well, one, you're acting unprofessionally before a client, and again, you're susceptible. Yeah, those are just some of the basic ethics that we covered. We covered a lot more than that, but.
How about this for ethics? If you bring a camera with you, point the camera to where the phenomena may happen and stop pointing it at your face.
Yeah! And stop playing the stupid
what
music.
What the hell is that?
No, but stop playing the stupid music while you're...
the background music, yeah.
Yeah! Da-da-da. Oh my god, there might be a spirit now.
I think they do that for algorithms. I think it helps or something.
Yeah. But, I kind of got away from watching YouTube videos that have background music because, well, you're just doing it for the drama of it now. And not for
that's
the actual...
YouTube videos, but what about the Travel Channel where they're going through a haunted house or something? Cymbals and violins and organ music and synthesizers.
Right.
It's like, God damn, stop it!
Well, they're trying to distract you from them not actually catching anything ghostly or paranormal at all.
They don't want you to see the director tossing
a
rock.
Did you hear that?
Camera.
It's like, no,
because there's nothing to hear.
They don't want you to see the director moving the door or pulling the string to move the door.
Exactly.
Right.
Every time I think about
Kicking the ball down the
paranormal
stairs.
and background music, the only thing that pops into my head is Goosebumps. That
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or like,
I like those
what was
movies.
that show?
Paranormal Activity?
There you
Twilight
go.
Zone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Paranormal Activity kind of ruined it a bit too. The movies.
You are now entering.
But you gotta remember, the
Twilight.
movies, they're for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, but how many people that watch them, and I'm not going to name names, but I know a few groups that actually thought, wow, paranormal TV shows are education.
No. Well, they put them on what used to be education channels.
Yeah,
That's the
they're on the History Channel.
Yeah,
No,
but
but I know I know some people that watch Ghost Adventures.
People are stupid.
I know some people that watched Ghost Adventures, went out and bought the exact same equipment they used on Ghost Adventures and used Ghost Adventures for their education.
That's just great advertising. That's all that
But I
is.
will say, like, a greater amount of people
Marketing.
do not believe that paranormal
Right.
activity is real. Like, they know it's
Right.
a movie. And it is for entertainment purposes only. And when they film it, they have to make it entertaining. If it's just, like, they walk in and a chair moves, ooh, they have to make the fucking people fly across the room. Damn right.
How many times have you flown across the room watching paranormal TV shows?
Not once, but Kayla's throwing.
Okay,
No, that was the Black Eyed Kids show.
I gotta be perfectly honest. I don't like horror movies. I'm not a horror movie person, not at all. So
I got a question. I got a question about that.
Okay.
If you're in your house and you're watching paranormal TV shows, reality shows, or some type of thing where people are talking about things that really happen, or what are the chances that invites something into your house?
You know how many times I've been asked that one? A lot. Anything can open up a channel. Whether it's what you watch in a TV show or not. Are you going to sit there and worry about it? No. Because the chance of it happening is slim.
Did I ever tell you about the time I was watching Village of the Damned?
Hmm?
You know that movie? There's a part where it like goes into a siren And I'm watching it as a kid, and then the siren goes off, but I'm still hearing a siren in my house. And I go out there into my living room, and it's like billowing with smoke. And my dad had put dumped his ashtray in the ash can thing that he had. It was like lit on fire, and like he was passed out drunk behind a locked door. And I was asking all the angels to come in and help me, and it was amazing because he finally woke up, grabbed the thing, threw it off of the frickin' porch, and everything was fine. And then I went back to watching the movie, but it was really strange that happened all at the same time. And I do think that it aligns you with a different reality. Everything you do aligns you with the reality in which you're experiencing at the time, the frequency that you're in, and absolutely.
And yeah, it can.
Okay, speaking of watching things, the quick thing here, we're right near the end, but what was the movie with Bruce Willis and I See Dead People and all that?
Sixth
Remember
Sense.
Sixth
Sorry.
The Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Now, I was sitting there in my apartment up in Washington. I had about 6 people sitting around in the living room watching this on the big screen. Everyone's just keyed in on this movie, and it was just tense. Nobody was saying anything, or they were really into the movie. My golf clubs that were standing in the corner of the room fall over and make this incredible racket. And I swear to God, people hit the ceiling. We had to stop the movie, and everyone had to calm down, and we took a couple blood pressures, and it was amazing. They'd never fallen over before, but that time they did.
Right. But anyway, we are at the end of the show. Next week, we're talking underground alien bases. So we're going to be talking Dulce, New Mexico, Antarctica. Huh? Next week.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we talked about last week.
Okay. Cool.
So Antarctica, Dulce, New Mexico.
Can we switch it?
Huh?
Can we switch it?
Oh, what do you got?
Carrington.
I want to go back to Mandela.
Oh, God. Really?
Yeah.
All right, next week, Mandela Effect.
Yeah.
And then a week after, we'll talk about...
let's make it
And here I
Mandela
was doing
Deja Vu
all
in
of this
that.
research about the Antarctic base. Oh, okay, fine.
No, take notes for the week after. But next week we'll do a Mandela and what?
Mandela, Deja Vu, and...
other sensory overloads.
Okay. There you go. Get expanded a
I
little
had
bit.
deja vu today while you guys were talking.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not good.
Tell us.
That means your other life in another
fascinating.
realm is actually talking about the same shit.
Yeah.
Or
That's right.
Neo's trying to get a hold of her.
Oh, that can be true. Anyway,
Neo.
y'all have a good night. And we will see
I
you.
remember you guys saying exactly what you said, and I was like, oh, maybe he just, said that before, and then it was like, no, the next sentence was the same, and the next sentence was the same, and the next sentence was the same, and I was like, okay, deja vu, interesting, cool, noted, That's interesting that you just said that you want to talk about that. More synchronicities happening all around.
All right, so we will see y'all next week. Have a great week. And good night.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Data transfer complete. System malfunction. Please evacuate immediately. Program terminated.
Son of a biscuit eater.